This is the
We can waive.
October 19th, 2015 meeting of the Nottingham Conservation Commission. I'm Chairman Sam Demerit. To my left is the Secretary Susan Mooney. To my right is the Vice Chair, Deb Kimball. Also in attendance to her right is Raylene Chippy Rice. To Susan's left is Terry Bonzer and Johan Kirchhoff to his left. And let's see, I guess she can fill in for Cheryl for the time being, I guess.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. And also in attendance, we have Dr. Dale Rice. Oh, and just entering the door is Kristen Lamb. Okay. First thing I'd like to, this went out on an email blast, but there are water testing kits available at the library. You don't pay for the kits. You will need to, when you do the sampling and bring the things back in Sunday morning between 9 and 1, you will need a check, I guess, made out to DES.
I think it's state of New Hampshire,
Oh,
but it's
state.
on the directions.
Oh, it's on the directions.
I'm not really sure.
Depending on which test you have done, I think the standard test is $85,
That's correct.
and radon is $20.
Additional $20
Yeah.
for radon.
Or if you want the arsenic by itself, that's only $15. So you have your choice, and everything's available at the library during library hours.
And we return them where?
Sunday,
Here,
here, on the 25th.
probably in the kitchen area at the town office building. Okay. Next thing on my agenda is the review of the minutes of the previous meetings. We have like 3 sets, I think, to
I'm sorry that I didn't bring us.
Do you want to do July 13th first?
sure.
Right. I'll send 2 copies that way and 1 copy this way.
No, I was here.
What's the date on that? July what?
July 13th.
July 15th.
Trying to think where I was. I must have been traveling.
Are you all set with those? Oh, okay.
Well, you might notice some grammatical errors or misspellings. Or
I'll accept those.
Susan doesn't make any.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Where wetlands are located on both sides of the road, but it's not a blandings habitat. So, or spotted, or, there are highly sensitive areas that have been located. Here in Freeman Hall wasn't one of them. Isn't David?
Paul just entered. I want to introduce him.
Okay. Then, we're just joined by Paul Miliotis, one of our alternate members.
I am late.
You want to hand these down to Paul so we can take a quick look? We're just reviewing minutes. Paul, this is the July set.
See if this is the meeting you really attended.
Thanks. Get my glasses.
Look at this, I'm connecting my water test. Yeah, but-
I think there's a misspelling here.
Yeah, just here, circle it.
Put a red line through it. Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Contacts like that they were in front of, from the area, right, I think she's just missing, right. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
We have a couple
Edits.
edits.
Okay, did you want to share with the ladies, or should I just use both of them, both sets? They might want to, everybody might want to know what the edits are,
Yeah, okay.
out loud.
Yeah, well, okay. So
Yeah, I
let you
have-
explain this one.
Well, I guess it just seemed weird. Mr. West described a project Mr. West was seeking input on, so it seemed kind of, it seemed to be, I was trying to simplify it. So I was trying to reword it that Mr. West described a project he was seeking input on that would that would install granite steps on the bank of the North River at the
Yeah.
entry. So that was, so I ended up first crossing it out, but circled to keep. So you'll see what I meant. And then there was that
Okay, and
minor one
then,
about
let's see
Cahill.
what, yeah, the
Next page.
next page of it. Down the bottom, Cahill Lane, I believe is C-A-H-I-L-L rather than C-A-Y.
Yeah, okay. Not with a K?
No, I think it's
Oh, it's a C, okay.
C-A-Y, C-A-H-L-L. Let's see, was there another one? Oh, yeah, there was the other one? That was over here. Okay, where did I see it?
Maybe you didn't use your red pen.
Was there
Oh,
another
right
one?
here, right here, on page 3.
We would use your red pen, put an arrow there.
Okay. We think that should be, it says FRO, and we think maybe it means, it meant from. So it's flora and fauna from the
From
area?
the area, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Or of the area, or from the area.
Okay.
Okay, you have a couple, on, he picked, will additionally stabilize, under page 1, standard dredge, fill minor impact, line 5. This project will additionally stabilize,
Additionally,
Yeah.
or just
or
stabilize.
stabilize.
How about just
delete.
take out additionally, or additional?
Next to the last line in that paragraph, with the, delete Y.
Oh, yeah,
No
yeah.
photos for the installation. Paragraph begins report on Sweetser site walk. Is it David or Davis?
David,
Should be David. Yeah.
3 lines from the bottom of that paragraph. The public hearing per RSA to disperse monies, delete for the,
oh, yeah. For the disbursement of,
or to rearrange that somehow.
yeah. How about just underline it? so
And
that-
after conservation fund, delete in.
Also underline over here too, for the,
Last sentence on the page, 3 others may be, space between may and be. And to help with breakdown.
where's
We could
that?
say with, I don't know, with breakdown, just, I'm not sure that people.
You're gonna get it again in last month's minutes too.
Pardon?
You're gonna get breakdown again.
No, a breakdown is fine, but I think it's just help to have an adjective clarifying with, booth breakdown or something.
Okay,
Just
Put
to
booth.
little clarify, so people reading it who don't know would be
we're not having
clearer.
mental breakdowns?
And that's right. One of those.
One of those.
And I can help with that?
What was this one? Order have denied. Oh, the next one on the Mason Conservation Commission, and a 25-mile corridor, is that in New Hampshire?
Yes.
Okay, maybe just stick in New Hampshire, 25 miles.
25-mile section in New Hampshire.
Yeah, something like that.
Here.
Oh.
25-mile section in New Hampshire.
Intent to cut, number 3, just a space between of and 11. And last line,
Too fast, too fast.
oh, sorry.
Where are we?
Intent to cut number 3.
Number
Oh.
3.
Cut a total of 11 acres, just a space there.
Oh, right there,
Oh,
of
okay,
11.
yeah.
All the stuff we
At the
missed.
bottom, a stone retaining wall. Last line on the page.
Retailing?
I'm gonna retail that
Making
wall.
money on
I'm
stones.
gonna retail that wall.
See how wrong you were, Terry?
And then, on the next page, under other, 4th section, Lamb said that critical turtle crossing, Freeman Hall Road capitalized.
Oh, yeah.
And the last page, oh, I guess that was just. I didn't get there.
Yeah, that was already posted, so
Oh, all
I
right.
just attached it
Oh.
on. So if it,
Fine.
if it's
I
in
mean,
there, I'm
it's
sorry.
readable. It's
Yeah.
readable. It's understandable. It's just- I didn't know.
I didn't embarrass
I-
myself too much today.
I didn't know that we.
You do a
had
lot
already
better than I
posted it.
would
Yeah,
with this
okay.
writing on.
Thank you.
It's just after doing so many of those.
Any other corrections that you noted, Paul, or
No.
anybody else?
I'll see, yeah.
Will somebody make a motion to accept the minutes of July 13th, 2015 as corrected?
That's correct.
I'll move that we accept the July 13th minutes as corrected.
And second? And seconded by Mary Lou.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Two abstentions.
Two abstain.
Okay.
Is there another copy floating around for July 13th? Thank you.
Next, we have one for
August 11th.
August 11th.
Have these been posted?
Take a look.
Probably not.
They were sent to you
Those are my minutes.
a couple of
No,
times.
but I mean, we've edited.
None of these have been posted
Oh,
because I have to make corrections before I post them.
I guess I misunderstood. I thought you said the others had already been posted.
Just those other, the minutes from that hearing.
From the
That was
hearing.
it. The hearing minutes.
Hearing.
Notice of
Posted.
written decision needs to be posted within 5 business days. So,
You have to look-
huh?
you have another look at it.
No, thanks.
Is that what you want?
Oh, no, I was looking for another business. You don't have-
No, I only made,
Yeah. we can
went on
just use
3
this one.
sets. Yeah.
I was at that meeting, so I think that's pretty. I don't know how you keep track of all those pages.
With minutes,
Yeah. See when they way.
they kind of build on each other.
Yeah. Here's when you started.
I'm done.
Yeah. Looks good to me. Okay.
Saks, going back to that. Remember that was going to be a development, but it was
Oh.
stopped in its tracks, but they're cutting all of that.
Living up here.
Discussed at the last meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Trent was supposed to go in and look at it. Just take this one. Just a walk through. She kind
Subdivision plate. Is that the plan? Must be.
Plat.
Plat?
Yes, plat.
It really is a plat?
Yeah,
What is that? A subdivision plat?
something like a plan.
Is there really a subdivision plat and not a plan?
It's a plat.
It
The
is a
map
plat.
itself,
Oh, okay.
the document is a plat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what you were talking about. Was there some spelling error on this part?
Huh.
Oh, I thought there maybe was. There's a definition. Spelling error, but that doesn't look, I didn't see any spelling in here.
Approved. I guess that's a good thing that subdivision regulations are updated.
It's okay. isn't it?
Are you missing something? Do you want this?
No, that's fine.
I just grabbed it to write notes.
Okay,
Okay.
wondered where it went.
Thank you.
We just had under correspondence, the last sentence is bolded. I'm not sure that it should be on the first page. Under the correspondence paragraph.
Oh, you know what happens when I go to do bold? It picks up the other
Of everything.
Yeah. I'm bold.
What was that? Oh. Oh, yeah.
Correspondence, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's- There we go.
Okay. Someone like to make a motion, we accept the minutes of the August 10th, 2015 meeting as printed with the note to unbold the last line in the first paragraph on the correspondence. Okay. Is there a second?
Second. Yeah. go ahead. He's quicker.
Was that you, Paul? Was
No,
that?
that was him. I think he was quicker.
It was Paul.
Fingers pointing.
Hey, Paul, 'cause I can't vote. How about,
Oh, okay.
Terry.
That Terry was there.
all right,
Okay.
Terry,
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, good, good
Moved
speed
and
bump.
seconded, we accept the minutes of the August 10th meeting, 2015, with the last line unbolded, under correspondence, the first paragraph on correspondence unbolded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Ayes have it.
7 up, okay. And then one more set. I have to apologize, well, I do this all the time. These were just finished this afternoon for September 14th.
That's current. You can pass two down there, because I got one here.
Okay, okay, here's another set.
Print out.
And already I noticed that I did not have a section there for minutes being postponed until the next meeting. So if someone just wants to make a note on minutes somewhere,
Maybe you just write it at the beginning.
it doesn't matter where, I'll stick it in. I think at the end of the meeting, we decided just to postpone because it was late.
Okay,
yeah,
so we can just do
The
it.
minutes postponed until,
Correspondence.
Oh. I just have something I want to bring on that part. Try to help me remember.
What's this one? The Maple Ridge Conservation Easement.
Cage Road.
With the K.
That one new coming in?
Pretty sure it's the
Just
same.
see. Aggregate.
It goes from this bridge.
He gave up on trying to get conservation.
Where's the-
I'm just sitting here,
Cahill with a C.
More, yeah.
Kale with a C. as long as you red penned it.
Yeah, I did. 4-color pens come in handy.
Mm-hmm. I used to have one of those, and then I ungeeked myself.
Do they still sell those? I never had one of those. I never had mine as a kid. I loved them.
Walmart sold them.
Oh, yeah, they do. Okay. Just thought it was a thing of the past.
They've gone up in price, but that's what happened.
Is that right? For one of those?
Yeah.
Correct.
I gotta get myself one of those again. Nostalgia.
Did an amazing job.
All right.
What do you say?
We're all set here.
Yeah.
Well, you want to do something with the minutes?
They're still
Are you,
looking at them over
you all set? Okay.
there.
We just had a couple,
Do you want to share?
Okay,
Corrections?
the first one I saw was on the correspondence on the first one, 22 Cahill Lane should be C instead of a K. And then we noted that the previous minutes review was postponed due to the late hour.
I just wondered under the conservation easements, it says the commissioners found when we received an update after supported, we would have an answer as to when to proceed with the CE for the parcel. Do we want to restate something about that? Because one of the questions that seemed to come up was, were we going to continue to support that?
This is
Yeah.
for Kimball,
For the Kennard property?
Kenner
Kenner.
property.
And I just wonder if we could make a statement in there that.
Yeah, we're planning.
We restated that the Conservation Commission will be.
We're planning to put a conservation easement on it.
Yeah, we had voted that, yeah.
No, I know.
Voted
but-
that we
but
were supporting it.
We were just
In the
trying to,
dialogue that night
Mhm.
with Dan, he seemed to be seeking reassurance that, given our funding situation, that we were still committed to that project.
I see.
And I think it would be nice to have it in the minutes.
Okay, just jot something like, still committed, question mark, and I'll stick it in.
anyone else have any corrections or?
Just a spelling correction on the well water test for residents. Down on the, I think, 7th line, it says the radon
Oh, test.
test. It's A and E is so close when you're typing.
Yeah.
and then actually,
It's not the worst I've done.
Yeah.
three lines above that, Mooney you need an extra O for
Oh,
yourself.
yeah.
Oh, Mooney.
Yeah.
You spell your own name
Who
wrong.
wants to say-
I did.
No, she was looking for money that day. And then the bold on the last page, the end of the sentence.
Oh,
Oh, again, yeah. If I don't look, it
Yeah, it
Sneaks
stays
by.
with it.
It's not a big, but it just raises question, why is that bolded?
yeah.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't
thank
know
you,
how
Sue,
do
for
all of these.
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty,
minutes. I mean,
it's
yes.
pretty volatile.
Because to organize everything and just to bold, I mean,
But
it's.
it is so,
Just suck it up.
so clear.
Yes.
Okay, I guess we
And
need a
also
motion
reminds
to approve the minutes of September 14th, 2015 as corrected. Somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
So moved by Kristen Lamb and seconded by
Sue, me.
Sue. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Okay, there's that. Okay, next on my agenda was the roadside cleanup, which we have scheduled for November 3rd, 2015. It's our fourth and final one that we're committed to for the year. through the Department of Transportation. Having our name on the sign there on 152 and 156.
That's an 8:30 start for us?
Yeah, 8:30,
Okay.
and I think we had 4 of us that talked about being there.
Is that on your calendar, Raylene?
The pickup, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And then Deb said that she was gonna take care of
I
it.
can do the hill.
and you do the hill one, okay.
We're good.
Okay. If anybody
work out.
else wants to join us, they're welcome. We'll meet at the library as usual. I'll pick up the
Time's
stuff.
confirmed 8:30?
8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than 8 o'clock.
Actually, it seemed to me as if I was gonna ask if we could do it at 8, because I think I had a conflict later.
That'll be fine.
What, 8 or
8.
leave? Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, Sam?
Yeah, we
You
can.
had a problem getting there by 8.
No,
Well, that was
no.
with
You pick
pickup
the
the
stuff
last
up.
time.
Is
Oh,
the stuff
okay.
picked up already?
No.
No, but I mean, you'd pick it up the day before, you wouldn't have to go down
I
at 7.
haven't arranged for it yet, yeah, but I can pick it up, yeah, I'll probably pick it up.
So
the day
8
before.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And just to know, I got my own orange vest. Ben's had them for like 4 or 5. It was really cheap, and it has pockets. Very comfortable, so,
Oh.
yes. Ben Franklin's, good deal on orange vests.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so, also when you're doing the easement walks. Yeah.
Do they have dog vests too?
What's that?
Do they have dog vests there too?
I didn't see dog vests, no.
Okay. That takes care of that. Where are we? Monitoring. We originally scheduled, we have scheduled the monitoring for the Mendham's landing parcels for October 27th. I forget what time, we're doing 9 o'clock on that, was it?
I have to look.
Maybe it's in the minutes.
Mendham's, 9 o'clock.
Okay. Got it. This one. That usually takes us a couple hours because we break down into 2 sections.
And I can take care of sending the letter out to Mendham's Landing Association, like
Okay.
just letting them know and inviting anybody to come and join us.
Okay. We'd
What
originally,
date was that, the 27th?
It's 27th.
it's a Tuesday.
9 a.m.
We'd originally scheduled the Highlands monitoring for the 31st, but due to some conflicts, we have rescheduled it till the November 5th. It's a Thursday at 8:30.
Sue Serino in the business office is updating the resident list for us.
Okay.
And then we can send out the letters informing them of the monitoring. And also included in those letters will be a copy of the easement deed, the deed
Deed
restrictions.
restrictions, right?
And then they'll post it here at
Yeah.
we'll send them out.
What time is that?
8:30, I think we looked at that.
And where do we meet?
We'll meet at the corner of Revolutionary Drive and Patriots Lane.
Yeah, where we were last year, Raylene.
I didn't go last year.
Oh, she will come.
Was your last?
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
You still need people for Mendham's? Are you all set?
well, we're going to invite them.
So, do you need any help?
Oh,
Monitoring help or is it already all set?
I think we have 4 people,
Okay.
but we will need for Tenenco. Because I had forgotten about, we had all forgotten about Tenenco.
Oh, we didn't include
Okay.
Trinidad, yeah.
I can, do we have a date or it's not?
No, well,
No.
Sam's just kind of going through the list now for confirmation.
list of those.
Right, in here too.
Yeah, okay. Kimball Family Tent goes next on the list. And we usually try to meet with John. He likes to lead us around. We try to keep up with him.
We also asked Celia about that one, because she likes
Yeah.
She does
that one too, because she lives nearby.
Did you want to contact Celia and
Sure.
ask her
And John, yeah.
if she would be willing, and then schedule it that way?
And then the Kimball Family Forest, that's owned by Bear Paw Regional Greenways now. The Kimball has deeded it over to them, so we are now the primary easement holder, so that's why we have to do the monitoring.
Oh, okay, because they
Yeah.
used to. Okay.
And,
And wasn't Cheryl going to do that?
Easily do
Yes.
that.
yeah.
Maybe
Scheduled
you
and
and Cheryl,
monitored
would
by
you?
Smith.
Because I know she actually said, oh, I'll contact Kristen about that one.
Yeah.
So,
Let me know, and then I can contact, or if you want to contact Dan at Bear Paw,
Okay.
let him know when you plan to do it. And let me know too, because I could come along and be the representative from Bear Paw if I have to.
Okay.
Somebody else can do it.
Do we need a representative there while we're doing
I don't need it, but I mean, it's, you know, and I think they still continue to have somebody go out and check out the property, which,
okay.
where they're not resident owners, so.
Mhm.
I've seen their,
And I'll get Friend done this weekend.
okay, you're gonna do Friend this weekend?
Yeah.
What's this weekend? You need any help on that, or?
If anyone wants to come, I'm not quite sure of the time. Can't be Saturday afternoon, it can't be Sunday morning, so Sunday afternoon, probably.
Okay, I won't be able to do Sunday afternoon, so.
So I kind of said, well,
Does someone usually walk with you, Deb, from the family?
yeah, sometimes I'll ask Gwen, because Gwen knows about it, so I'm not too worried about it. It's, you know, I'm doing it for years.
Because Sunday is the pickup for the lab, for the
I know,
water
9 to
stuff.
1.
So
but-
after 1 o'clock.
Yeah, let's do it that way. Either that, I mean, if I'm on my own, then I can just do it Saturday, I might do it Saturday morning. I'll squeeze it in.
Okay,
What's that?
that's it for that.
Yeah, I could do Saturday morning, I think.
Yeah, I have to go to my only problem is for Saturday morning, I have a workshop in Manchester. It's a Vernier workshop that starts at noon.
Okay.
So I might just delay it to Sunday.
Do we have monitoring sheets electronically? I forget.
We do.
Yeah.
I can send
Yeah.
some out.
We got some in the file, I believe, so.
You want electronic, though?
That's easier.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is easy.
Okay.
So I can
Thank you.
Let me just-
send out.
Oh, there we go. Okay, the Bear Paw is apparently has a couple of people, I think they're from Deerfield.
That are gonna monitor this?
Well, that we'll look at it, you know, for them. I think they used to do the monitoring when Bear Paw was the easement holder and not the owner. It's a Doyle and Mathis. I think their husband and wife. I forget.
Is Kimball's the one on Freeman Hall?
Yes.
Yeah, Freeman Hall, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right next to the river, North River.
So I guess if Bear Paw is doing it, is it easier just to let them do it instead of trying to coordinate
Well,
several?
we're the easement holders, we should monitor it.
Okay.
Okay.
They can still look at it to see if there's been any violations, you know, for their own
So
purposes.
can they just go out on their own
They
instead of
can-
us having to coordinate?
Yeah, I'd
That's
rather
one
not
other
do that.
level of trying to get one more person
Rather
out
not
at the
herd
same
cats,
time.
I guess.
I was gonna say, you can let me know, and, you know, if I'm not doing anything that, whatever day you're doing it, I can probably do that. And be a Bear Paw representative since I'm on the board there. Okay. I think that's it for monitoring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The announcement of the, well, it's part of the correspondence, but, the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commission's annual meeting will be on November 7th at Pembroke Academy this year. And I think we have a flyer on it. I don't know what it is.
I think I can go, actually.
I know I can't.
That's November or October,
November 7th.
November 7th.
November
First
7th.
first Saturday, and I don't see the thing right now.
I know we
But
all
they
got
do have a
emails.
thing
Yeah,
online, they sent a posting.
yeah, I don't know.
Probably
I
find
don't,
it.
Paul might
Yeah.
not have gotten it.
I think I did get it.
Okay, good. I
Yeah.
forwarded it to you, maybe?
Yeah, I think you forwarded it to me, thanks.
Okay.
November 7th, but I'll write it down, because sometimes I don't get my emails.
They are good, when you can
Yeah.
get there,
We
they're,
have
Yeah, at least
Well
when it's
worth
there,
it.
then you can,
a number,
Do you have the calendar, did you say, the catalog?
And,
no, you can't find it.
no, all I had was a card on it.
But he sent you
Yeah,
a
no,
link,
he
he
sent
did
it,
send a
right. Yeah.
link.
We were just wondering if there was, I
You
thought
could
there
go
was
to
a
the
wetlands
website.
thing on
is it November
be.
7th?
Check the
Is it
their website.
Saturday,
Yeah.
what day is it?
Yes,
It's a
yes,
Saturday.
it's always the first Saturday in November.
And it's, what time? Is it like
I
afternoon?
think check-ins around 8:30.
Oh, in the morning,
in the
okay.
morning,
Yeah, it's all
Yeah, it's an
day.
all-day, includes lunch. Um,
Yeah.
We have
And
money in the budget to pay for people to go.
So you have to register for it, though, you have to
Yeah.
let them know. Right.
Yeah, register online or whatever.
Yeah, it's online registration now. You might be able to print out a form, and we can, like I say, we have money in the budget for people to go, so.
Do people need receipts or some sort of
Yeah,
documentation?
should have some sort of a receipt that.
Print the receipt.
Yeah,
Reimbursement
And track mileage.
and mileage.
and mileage, yeah. Keep track of mileage.
I don't know what the mileage rate is, but all we do is put down the miles, and
Yeah, they figure it out.
they figure it out for us. If anybody wants to carpool, we can do that.
Can I just back up for 1 second? Do we have medallions for monitoring too?
Yeah.
No, we always check that. Those are in the office.
Yeah, they're on the
Well,
top of the
in
files.
Yeah, in our office there, yeah.
And there should be nails there too, a box of nails,
Okay.
aluminum nails. So
Okay.
just have to remember to bring a hammer with you and nails and medallions.
Okay.
Are you doing more correspondence?
Yeah, I'm doing correspondence now. Okay. Have an intent to cut, well, actually, two intent to cuts. First one is map 72, lot 1, sub F. It's, the owner is Pamela Schaff, Schaaff, 108 Mountain Road, Nottingham. The lot is 21.2 acres, and they're cutting 21.2 acres.
Do we have maps that we can look
Yeah.
at? So, just some of the, without looking at the maps, do they have wetlands or anything on them? Because some of the ones that have gone by us
So I don't know how much of the wetlands.
doesn't
are
matter.
in there.
Yeah. Okay, just an FYI.
And the second one is map 72, lot 1, sub F-1, and it's owned by Frederick C. Schaff III. And there is 19.8 acres, and they're cutting 19.8.
it. Is that something we should be checking? About wetlands? Or
Yeah.
There are different
DES
rules,
does?
there are different rules for forestry work than there is for development. And they're supposed to be monitored by the Division of Forestry and Lands. They probably are not. So if people see violations, they are welcome to report them. That's basically it.
But it's not done beforehand.
Well, usually
It's
the
done
foresters
during.
have to follow
Right.
protocol. I
Yes,
mean, when
best
they're
practices,
cutting, they're not
and
gonna,
all of
The
Go
that.
through
assumption is
what-
that they're doing it.
yeah, I mean, they're supposed to, and, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they're,
certain,
and
you
they
know,
anticipate
best
starting
practices
this
that they're
last month.
supposed to follow as their
So what was the first name on that one, Frederick?
guidelines. And usually
Frederick
there's certain times of the year
C.
that they'll
Shaft,
do,
the
you
third.
know, if they have to do a crossing or something like that.
But it's left to the discretion of the people who are doing the cutting.
But also the people that do, the loggers have to be certified by the state, and they have to be in good standing, otherwise they're gonna lose their license. So there's reassurance along that line.
Just
I'm all
found,
set with those. We'll take a look.
just found the announcement on the
Yay.
NHCC.
Oh,
Okay.
who wants
Okay.
it?
Let me look at it, just,
Not much on there, it's just.
yeah, I can just take that.
Okay,
So
Okay.
when we get these intent to cuts, I know we've probably brought this up a million times too. These are just FYIs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, occasionally a neighbor will let us know if they think something wrong is going on.
And then we can, so for forestry, it would be New Hampshire, you said.
Division of Forestry and Lands,
And for developments, it should be DES.
yes. But also other things too, like DOT for driveway cuts, and also visibility for where you put your driveway and these kinds of permits. The intent to cuts are mostly for a heads up to see if there might be development down the road, particularly with the big ones.
Okay, this is from Department of Environmental Services, but a complete forestry notification for a Richard and Joy of 10 Hallsway in Nottingham, your neighbors. Tax map 43, lot 36. Cutting timber for forest management purposes only and not for current or future development. It's been, just an acknowledgement of the receipt. And,
Must have got that last time then, right?
it was
We know
received
about
in
this.
9/21, so.
I think there was another notice on that, Roy.
It could be,
Other
yeah.
notice?
Could be.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've got shoreline impact from Department of Environmental Services. Actually got two things here. On the same property, this is the property across the road, owned by Bear Paw Regional Greenways. Permit to retain impacts of 2,384 square feet associated with removal of 1,200 square feet of parking area and the installation of a kiosk.
That was already done.
Oh, that was already done.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the other one?
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is the stranded dredge and fill for the putting in those steps, the concrete steps. And the local river advisory committee, Lamprey River Advisory Committee, has suggested removing the side runner stones and that the steps be slightly elevated above grade to make the steps more maneuverable and to avoid trip and fall injuries by the users. This is from DES also. And that one's dated October 2nd. And a letter from Lamprey River Advisory Committee. Signed by Todd Biskovitz. They noted that the use of cut granite for the steps at the Lee Canoe access was very expensive, about $17,000.
That's why they're going with,
And that considerable savings could potentially be realized with the use of mortar, rubble, masonry as frequently used by the New Hampshire Department of Transportation for crosswalk cutters, steps, and small retaining walls.
So are these both for the same thing?
No, actually, it's two different things. One is for the,
It's already done.
for the kiosk, and the other, I thought, and this one is for the
Okay.
steps.
Okay.
And then we've got one shoreline impact permit 2015-02203 for Peter D. Landry of 248 Mill Pond Road in Nottingham. Project location is Robin Hood Drive in Nottingham. Impact 6,055 square feet. Noted to construct a year-round dwelling, garage, and associated site improvements. This has been approved on September 18th. Usual conditions on it. The next one is permit 2015-02340 for John and Meredith, I'm gonna butcher the name, Caiati of 82 Bardary Lane in Nottingham. It's map 63, lot 41 on Pawtuckaway Lake. Impact 1,970 square feet. Noted to construct a garage. And that was approved on October 5th. Conditions. Oh, we got another one. This is permit 2015-01624, approved October 6th. For Benjamin G. McMahon, P.O. Box in Raymond, but the location is 22 Cahill Lane, map 68, lot 56. Constructing a 160 square foot perched beach with no more than 3 cubic yards of sand. Repair an existing wharf along the shoreline in kind with no change in dimensions or configurations on Pawtuckaway Lake in Nottingham.
What was the first part? A beach?
Construct a 160 square foot perched beach. I think that means it's elevated above the shoreline.
3 cubic yards of sand?
3 cubic yards of sand.
3 cubic yards of sand.
So what does that mean? You put in like a
Like
concrete
as big
or
as this
something?
table.
And then,
Yeah.
Like a sandbox, almost
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
a sandbox.
Big time.
160 square feet.
Okay.
It's 2 inches deep.
10 by 6. Yeah, 10 by, no, 16 by 10. 16 by 10. Or 8 by 20. Relatively small. We're getting ahead of Susan. Okay. We'll just hold off on that. I have a letter from the Mason Conservation Commission, as promised, here's a copy of the final signed NED opposition letter as published and submitted to FER, Federal Energy, FERC anyway, on August 28th. On behalf of all the Conservation Commission involved, thank you very much for supporting this effort. And this was the letter opposing the gas pipeline through some conservation areas in the southern part of the state, which we supported. We supported the letter opposing the.
I supported the opposition.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Sam caught himself. He said, which we supported. You caught yourself, and then you said, we didn't support the
We
project.
supported the letter, not the project. And this, in the other conservation commissions that were signed on to this letter were the Ackworth Conservation Commission, the Amherst Conservation Commission, Belmont Conservation Commission, the Bethlehem Conservation Commission, Brookfield Conservation Commission, Brookline Conservation Commission, Campton Conservation Commission, Cornish, Deerfield, Dorchester, Exeter, Fitzwilliam, Greenfield, Greenville, Hudson, Jaffrey, Kensington, Lineborough, Mason, Merrimack, Middleton, Milford, Nottingham, Pelham, Peterborough, Piermont, Ringe, Sullivan, Temple, Troy, Walpole, Washington, Wilmot, Winchester, and Wendell.
No.
They had proposed to put this through some existing conservation land that was in the conservation easement.
And it was not for New Hampshire economy.
Right.
Or fuel.
Yeah, it was mainly for, because the people in northern Mass vetoed the thing, so they tried to run it through to New Hampshire to get down back into northern Mass.
What happened to it?
I don't know, this is, this was the letter to the governor,
There was an article in the New Hampshire Union Leader that there's some safety concern from an expansion that means that there's a blast radius that's very large, and it has to do with increasing the size and pressure on the facility. And so was why the people there were fighting it also. So it's still, so
Limbo.
it's kind of like helping them define that there's a number of problems.
Okay, I have a letter from NH Cooperative Extension from Karen Bennett, Extension Professor and Specialist Forest Resources. Some copies of the forest laws for municipal officials. They're having workshops on them Monday, November 9th at the Auburn Safety Complex in Auburn, New Hampshire on 55 Eden Hill Road, and Tuesday, November 10th up in the North Country in Lancaster. The all-day session is 8 to 3, which includes a field walk in the afternoon. If anybody just wanted to do the morning section, it's 8 to 12:30. You have to bring your own lunch if you're staying for the afternoon field trip. You visit, okay, the thing is, who is responsible for what? Timber tax and intent to cut forms, wetlands regulations, prime wetlands, forestry notifications, stream crossing
People want
rules,
to know.
Shoreline Water Quality Protection Act as it relates to forest management, forest harvest laws, roads, and then in the afternoon, you visit a recently completed timber sale to learn what is and isn't in compliance. So,
It'd be nice that it's during the week,
yeah.
Monday.
Sounds perfect.
Let's see what anybody else like to.
Anyone is interested.
Different conference.
If I'm not working, I may try to sit in at least in the morning
You can also
section.
post this up front on that bulletin board.
Okay. Yeah, we're still catching up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Have an environmental bulletin from the Department of Environmental Services talking about the Mendham's Pond Dam repair project. Saying they're busily preparing for the repair during all of August. Beginning on September 9th, this was dated September 1st. They'll begin the drawdown, and I guess you've noticed whoever was doing the monitoring of the of the Little River.
Oh, yeah, right, that was really high.
This will result in higher than normal flows in the Little River, which drains to Nottingham Lake.
We were trying to figure that out. It's so dry and this river is really high.
They anticipate that the water level will reach the targeted 20-foot drawdown stage in 30 to 45 days, weather dependent. In case we get additional rains, the drawdown may take longer. And then, DES has been focused on improving access for construction vehicles to be able to properly negotiate and stage the construction and to bring power to the site for construction activities. And observing monitoring wells installed in the dam to gather additional information about the dam. They consulted with New Hampshire Fish and Game regarding removal and relocation of species during the drawdown. And Fish and Game determined that while some fish may move downstream during the drawdown, the approximately 100-acre, 30-foot deep remaining pool would be acceptable habitat for the species remaining in the pond during the construction.
Paul, could I see that last one that you have, the one on top? I neglected to write down the water body. Thank you. Nottingham Lake. He's making a pile down there. I need these two.
These two,
These are the intent to cuts, correct? I've got those.
Yeah, you got those,
Yeah.
okay. We do have a copy of the autumn 2015 forest notes from the Society for Protection of New Hampshire Forests.
Yeah. You do?
And they did provide me a big copy of our expense report, what we expended and
Yeah.
budgeted through August 30th. Postage, we'd expended $1.44 out of $30. Nothing on the $20 of printing. Dues, $323 out of $465. Conferences and training, $150 out of $560. Well, that's going to go up. Publications, 6 out of 50 so far. Mapping, 0 out of 200, but there's 40 going to be coming out of that. Riverside maintenance, nothing out of 230, but there'll be about 200 and a little over 200 coming out of that. Office supplies, I guess we got some we're going to vote on tonight. It was, at that point, it was none out of 30. Equipment, we had none out of 50. Mileage, we had 6760 out of 135. And the water test maintenance and supplies, we had nothing out of 50 at that point. Let's look at that. And we got the copy of the newsletter of the New Hampshire DES Drinking Water and Groundwater Bureau, supply lines with the source. So, look at that. Oh, yes, no. Okay. Supply lines. Okay.
This is sort of off the subject, but it does prompt the question. There was a note in the minutes that that the town gets a report of the water quality from
A general summary statement.
a general summary. Does that mean that they'll tell us how many had radon and how many?
Yes,
Yeah.
but they won't say where.
But they won't do it by region
No,
of town
no.
even?
No.
It just
No.
within the town.
Yeah.
Because that would impact property values, most likely.
And each person who submits the test and pays for it will get a report of their particular
Right.
system, so.
And then the generic one is just,
Just to alert the,
do we
everybody.
get the town gets a copy of that. Do we get a copy of it?
I suppose we can ask for it to make sure,
Yeah.
if we don't get
Take
it.
a look at it.
I don't know how, well,
That'd be interesting for heavy metals. I mean, arsenic naturally occurs, but lead or anything else.
Yeah, arsenic is here in Nottingham.
Mm-hmm.
it's here in the
But
state.
lead or anything else.
That would be
Yeah.
from the age of the pipes, I would assume. But anybody whose house is on ledge rock should be
Yeah,
testing for
yeah.
arsenic.
Okay. Do you need
Yeah,
eight
I can,
now?
I can make little notes of those, 2, 5. Yeah, thanks, Sam.
Are we on other yet?
No, we still got, we were given us a copy of the revised, or maybe it's the original, Maple Ridge development plans, and I didn't know if anybody, I figured we could do at least a quick review of them.
Can I just get updated on, wasn't this, for clarity, isn't this development going through? As
Yeah,
Is
well-
that
we
what
know?
this is for?
Yeah, I think they're doing it in stages, so there is a possibility that if they get one stage done and money is found to,
We still can,
we might still be able to salvage,
How big is a stage, though?
it's 3 stages.
How many houses involved involves a stage?
I don't know.
I guess what I just don't want to support something that's just,
Chopped up and
chopped up
paved
and,
over.
here's the ledge
Yeah.
that you're gonna conserve, that
Yeah.
they're not gonna develop it. We've been there before. And I just don't wanna put, there's monies that could go to,
well, I think the money will go back to
Other
look at that
places.
project that they initially developed. See,
This is the
had to make
existing
decisions about that.
thing.
is this stage 1?
Okay, here's, I don't know which is, I was thinking that the, maybe Sue can.
Living
Sue can
agreement, so
tell
they
us.
just be using
I
it.
was thinking the stage 1 was the one from the Oak Ridge.
It's from the left side of the map. Is that Oak Ridge?
Oak Ridge,
Okay. Off Case Road, not Mitchell.
Yeah, if it is an
yeah. It's
existing.
actually Oak Ridge, right?
No.
Which is off Case.
Right, yes. But not Mitchell, which is on the other end.
Okay.
The quick trip. Yes, that'd be-
When was that Forest Laws workshop, Sam? Something known to that?
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, so, thinking that this is the first section, the first stage would be off Oak Ridge, going in, and then we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Depending on how far out the first stage goes, 17 shown on this map,
And
Where?
then
this section of the map.
53 acres as open space.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's like 25 vernal pools.
Yeah.
All in
they're
here?
cut in.
So
Here. Got some wetland here.
we've got wetlands, I don't know if they show the ground.
So essentially cutting off the wetland from the upland completely. because all these species use this
Yeah.
during a different season, so that now they have to cross all these house lots and
On the
roads.
Uh, I don't know.
So it's a forest and that's it. Because we can consider all of these species pretty much disturbed. So we wouldn't
Yeah.
be protecting diversity or anything like that, just this.
Yeah, if this is the first, somewhere in here is the first stage. I don't know.
But we don't know if this whole thing the first stage?
I don't know. Let's,
So if it's not clear, that's pretty difficult for us to,
yeah,
I'm just really concerned about not knowing at this point what's,
yeah. I'm guessing, because, then here
I
they
just
got,
don't get how it's
maybe
even
11.
this is like a blow up or something?
possible to. I'm just.
This would be the third stage.
This
How
house
come
is on
these are-
top of the.
1.4. So this is here because,
See, this is the buildable lot area
Yeah.
here.
yeah, and they're all under 2 because they have the open space piece.
Right.
And so because of that, this is part of that open space plan. We don't need to support, no, we don't need to add any monies to this because this is already part of the development. They get to have this open
Right,
space because these lots are smaller. Nowhere in here is land conserved
Well,
that should be
that's-
supported.
That's if all three stages are developed. Are they gonna, I think they're planning to do stage 1 first. And then the second stage will be from the other end. And they'll leave the middle as the third stage.
I mean, this is why it's great that the subdivision regulations include more conversation between planning board and conservation commission, because they've developed all of the wetlands and they've left a stream and a forest. If we had had a crack at this open space that's not wet would have been a better
Yeah.
building site. It's
Yeah, it crossed a lot. I mean, look at this
It's
crossing
unbelievable.
here, and this crossing here. So, that's,
Yeah, they still have to get DES permission to do those.
they
those
haven't,
crossing.
They have to.
but they've gotten approval from DES to develop all of this.
Mm. Yeah, I think,
Is that what that
It's
says over there?
well, but
Shorter list.
that was my reaction to the question of.
This is just a survey.
To get to this point, to have these phases approved, don't they have to have approval by DES first?
Well, check through those to see if there's, any approvals for the crossings.
I don't know how to
Incredible
read
to
all
me.
of it, so I
And
think.
one of the things
This
I've
is- look
always
at the all wetland
been
stuff
dismayed
there.
about is like, there's nothing in, once these lots go in and the houses go in, if there are vernal pools, and this has happened from our first developments, there's really never anything that anyone can check on.
No.
It's just, once it's there and developed, that's it.
Part of the property.
It's part of the property, so that's, you can kind of, some people will respect it and like, oh, okay, we'll just leave it, we're only gonna use this part, but others might say, hey, we want a nice big lawn, and we're gonna have a 1.5 acre lawn, and that's that. So there's nothing
Sam, can I
there,
roll
so,
this out so I can see
Sure.
that?
Any way of doing
My
any
way.
education or?
you know, you can't, I mean,
Of
you
the
can,
people who are
you can
there.
bring a flyer and maybe provide a flyer when the houses are sold or something, but there's not
No.
anything, so once that goes in, it's a lot, it's, that's it. So, I just find like, okay, I don't think we can support that, any part of it.
No.
I
Well,
mean,
no,
nothing's-
not
nothing is-
unless somehow we can go back to the original plan.
It's not happening. I don't see that happening.
Funding, if, depending upon how long this is delayed and if funds go
Because we
through.
originally didn't want the through road,
Right.
because that's what destroys,
Yeah.
this through
Right.
road
So
destroys,
here's-
but they want
But where's the road come out?
for safety and other reasons,
Yeah,
they.
Well, that's
but they-
normally
Above
what
Case
Road.
they- the
Above
issue
Case
with
Road, so
public
Case-
safety
Where's,
is something.
Where
that-
exactly is that?
No, no,
Go out.
I know where that is.
The fact of
I'm
the
saying,
matter
where
is
did the
too,
road come
if
out?
you're putting house
On the
lots in
fire truck.
this area, and it is sort of now.
Oh,
open,
yeah, it's eventually
there's
gonna go right there.
evaporation rates
Right
Right there, so this is on the
greater,
northeast
so there'll be
end
less
of it.
water.
So
That's
they'll
probably
show.
gonna be phase two.
Then, you know, the whole
Phase
drying
one
out
is going
process
to be,
starts, and these things dry up because
The
the
Oak
real
Ridge
source
and-
of water
They
is
don't
gone.
have to put that road all the way
There's
through.
nothing recharging
Yeah, they're
it.
gonna have to have a road all the
So
way
it
through, but
becomes-
it doesn't
They've
necessarily have to
approved
be
it for
paved
safety reasons.
in the middle
Doesn't
section if the middle
cover
section doesn't get developed.
Quality of the environment
have to
or
be
even the quality
open.
of water that you're taking.
No, you did it.
So
And built to road standards, but not necessarily
anyway, of
paved.
even knowing what the plan is until it's over, and that's why
This was usually-
I
But
suggested
we
having a
decided
better.
that road was going to be a gravel road rather than a blacktop, wasn't that the
I
final?
don't think we
if-
have any
if-
say over that.
if-
We
No, but
suggested
wasn't there
that,
the
but
final-
If the middle section was not developed, they were talking about, just having that
Gravel
gravel,
road.
Not paved.
Right. And there's no timeline for this.
So there's two conversations of how it's being developed, although I think we have a little input at this, I'm not sure how much, because of the time and where this development is at. And two was the piece that we had put out there, if they had gotten the matching grant, was that money that we had
Mhm.
put forth to match. And so that other piece is where I think we need to have that conversation is, are we still in any support of the project?
Yeah, I guess
As
it
it
would be good to
stands.
know what phase one is.
I believe one is.
But the timeline.
Oh, the timeline, well,
Like, is each one a year? Is it 6 months? Is it 3 months?
I think even if this is phase one, I would not support putting any money towards this. I think
Well, no.
with all the wetlands chopped up
You
and
wouldn't
paved
put-
over.
For open space development, you don't put money.
Yeah, we don't, they have to have this because these are
Smaller.
smaller lots. So they have to conserve an open space. So this is a regular open space development.
doesn't
without
require
any. It
what
doesn't
that-
require any conservation
Any open
monies.
space?
No.
Any open?
So we're not supporting any phase then.
No, Conservation Fund is to purchase the development right for house lots.
I understand
But
that.
I want to know is our
But they're
old
still
piece
asking
of
for-
the conversation we've had over the past 2 years with this project, is that now totally off the table because this project has changed? And have we officially put it off the table, that we've rescinded?
We haven't officially,
We haven't officially.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
that was discussed the last.
okay.
And also, we had seen other renditions where we were going to still put money towards it because it was 2 houses that were promised to whoever the original people were, so.
yeah, that was on the other end.
Initially, the middle section of houses would not be built for
Right.
one contiguous open space. And that was the original thought, to go to NRCS with that, to purchase just those middle lots. 10 or 12, not too many. And for that, we supported with an addition, with $100,000 to make up the difference for what the feds wouldn't cover. And at that time, it was like 72% that they would cover, and then we would pick up the remaining 20% with conservation funds. If this whole development goes through to completion, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of the middle lots, there's no conservation fund money.
But I guess what Kristen's saying, what it looks like now, if this is phase 1, do we still have to, if only phase 1 goes through, are we still promising those monies?
Or is
No,
he still
no,
asking? Is he still
Not unless-
asking?
Not
Not unless
unless,
he gets funding from somewhere.
not unless he gets some more funding to not develop the rest of it.
The upper limit he
But,
can ask for is $500,000. no
And he
project.
needed $1 million, right?
He needed $1 million for the whole property
Oh.
to be conserved.
So even if he's asking for funding, if he only does this phase one,
He's not asking for funding for phase
It
one.
was just the
But
middle
for
part.
the rest of it,
For
The middle part.
Middle
middle
part,
part?
or phase three,
Phase
two and three.
How many more acres are left? This is 50,
160 acres total.
160.
So what does it say for conserved space over there?
this is 50 acres.
53 acres, and then you've got another 11 acres over here.
So let's say that's.
A little over
piecemeal.
60.
And a little
Is that
bit,
11
a
acres
little
or
bit down
something?
here, but,
So how
But
big
does
are those
that-
lots now if they're less than 2 acres? Do they vary?
They're
Yeah.
usually around 1 acre, more or less.
well, usually, I think they have to be
They're
at least.
all over, they're all about 1.2 to 1.5, something like
Yeah.
that.
So it'd be nice to see the rest of the property to see if it's all just forest or if there's any
Oh.
diversity.
Oh, this is the next section up from that one.
Is there an overview of the whole thing? Is there a small overview of everything? Hard to picture when you just see little pieces here and there. I can't.
I don't know if we have
There's 23 there.
Does it have a, look at the index, Sam, over here.
Sister and general details. Plan and profile.
subdivision plan.
Plan of land is just 1, 2, and 3.
I
So
wonder
it's-
if
so it would be this thing right here.
What's here? No, that's,
Is this the big one?
no, that's, again, the 3 sections, I think.
This isn't.
An overall view of it.
How many houses altogether?
42 lots.
42 lots.
Which means 41 houses in
On
the last
160 acres?
62.
162, 40.
But open space, so half of it will be conserved. But if all 3 phases go through, then the open space will not be contiguous. It'll be like, yeah,
Yeah.
in
you've
3
seen that in
pieces.
the Development where it's less beneficial because they get chopped up.
Yeah. Are we trying to come to a conclusion whether we'll support
I just-
any phase, or this is just a presentation of?
I thought it was still kind
Yeah,
of-
he hasn't come to the planning board yet for discussion.
But the emails between you and him suggested that he was expecting support for that position.
Regardless of whether he went through
Yeah,
a
that's
phase
what
or
I'm
not.
concerned about, is that he's
Yeah.
But
saying
see,
yes.
I did not respond to those because you just don't do business via emails, because that's when you get tripped up.
Right,
So
Maybe
let him
that's-
say what he said.
right.
I just chose to send him the minutes of the meeting in
Right.
in response,
Right,
which I thought were clear enough.
so he could go through with phase 1 and then come back and say, you know, my understanding was that if we preserved this much in space.
Which was the original vote, yes.
Which is the original thing. So I think maybe what Kristen was saying was that, you know, we need to maybe state that, as far as we understand it, what the steps he's taking means that he is not going forward with
Yeah.
his agreement, and that we therefore withdraw
But also,
support
but
for
also
it.
too, Paul,
Yeah.
when you apply for NRCS grants, to have the development details like this
Right.
increase the value of the properties because they've done all the work. So anybody that wants to go to NRCS, they get more money if they develop plans like this to show what they can get if they sell for house lots, rather than just for raw land.
if
So
he
just
is-
because they're
if
on
he is-
paper doesn't necessarily mean that
No.
the whole project is going forward, 1, 2, 3.
So if
Right.
he still continues to pursue the NRCS.
And we have
funding,
no idea.
and if he does, then we would be interested in continuing to support
Yeah.
the project.
Yeah, as we
However,
were initially.
if he chooses to not do anything, to drop that whole NRCS,
then we will drop our, any support.
Because it was
project.
contingent on that.
That's basically where we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was contingent on that.
Now, it may be that he's gonna, say, develop phase one,
Right.
and then look to see what the NRCS
Right.
rules
At that
are
point in
at
time.
that point, because they've
And they
been
have a
changing.
wetland
They
scientist.
change every year.
They have a
Right.
wetland scientist working for them. So he can say, well, we made this concession rather than that one, and their wetland science would back it up. So I think that's what a concern would be, that he's moving forward, and he's not moving forward to go along with what we asked, so we should be concerned, I guess, is what I.
Well, we did ask initially not to have phase 3 developed, to have one contiguous open space and not impact all of those wetlands.
But there was always gonna be some impact of some wetlands.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we're just trying to minimize.
Minimize
the
the-
impact.
exactly.
So if there are house lots that are taken out of the picture, phase 3, then those would be candidates for conservation easement,
Yeah, NRCS.
over and above an open space development.
It's a way of
The only
getting
thing that
around
would-
it, though.
The only thing that would be interesting would be to see what his timeline is for.
He's not gonna give it, he's not
We don't
even giving
know
it to the
yet.
planning board. He's just moving forward with phase one, submitting plans for that and not.
Right, but, if you're gonna build all those houses in 3 months.
Well, I think there's a certain timeline where when all the houses are built and sold, then the bond is released for the construction of the roads. So there's that little carrot at the end of the stick too.
So there may be time, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, he's not been in communication, so.
That's a we.
Yeah. Moving forward.
So will we revisit what our stance is after he performs phase 1, or after he
Well, it
gives us
may
an
be even
update?
before that, when he gets, probably before the planning board.
Yeah.
We could see what, if he has a timeline at that point.
Is there consensus at all about putting funds towards it with 17 houses chopping up wetlands?
Well, initially, that's where the first $100,000 was pledged. And it was going to be phase 1 built, phase 2 built, but not phase 3. That was the initial 100,000.
Looking at it
And-
again, I guess
and-
I'm wondering what we, with other,
And then when he.
other properties that come to us in the meantime that are unfragmented or have better
Yeah.
biodiversity, I wonder if it's still as prudent or relevant for us to.
Do we have
Legally,
to
I
know?
don't know,
So is the question to go back to that original $100,000 investment?
that's the fallback, yeah.
As the fallback? And then what's the again, we still don't know what the timeline of that
Yeah,
is,
that's-
or what our funding is going to be.
Yeah.
But
Or
some
what
of
other
the,
projects are gonna come along.
but the studies that Mark West did on the wetlands said that they were just incredible. I don't remember how many dozens of wetlands are out there, particularly in that central
I
area.
wonder why people would even wanna buy property on those.
Yeah, but it's the
In the middle of a wetland.
To hear
wetlands, but the
peepers.
wetland species need the uplands.
Yeah.
So with roads, it's just a matter of time, like you said before, the wetlands are dried up.
That's why I was
or-
wondering, should we, do we
That's
need
the
to
general
conserve
path
that
for-
central
for
area?
the
To keep the other, the
pool.
rest of it going?
And actually, one of the problems that I saw was that a vernal pool is a relatively new wetland front. And that means that it's not on a lot of the maps because it's temporary. So if the inventory, the walkthrough was done at a period when there's almost nothing there, unless you had somebody that was a wetland specialist.
Well, Mark, I mean,
So
he.
the planning
walked
board,
through.
doesn't have any way of knowing.
Didn't Mark walk through? You said Mark
Yeah.
had inventoried the wetlands.
He did the wildlife, he did the wetlands and
Yeah,
wildlife.
so he would have noted,
That was like 2-3 years ago,
Right.
right at the beginning.
But
he's a
many-
wetland scientist.
I know, but I mean, more of the wetlands are developed like this, and they run through the planning board who didn't know. Mark went in there and did this thing
Yeah, but I think
because
he
we were looking at.
he reported back to the planning
Right,
board, I believe.
he reported back to the
Yeah.
planning board, but for whatever reason,
I don't know.
planning board,
Yeah,
They
I
do
wonder
some
why the
sidewalks
planning board
out there?
approved this.
No,
You
not
can
yet.
still develop, I mean, we've had developments go through with vernal pools
right,
on.
and that's what
So
this-
long as the vernal pool is here and the house lot and all that's there, they'll go through.
But this one's got a lot, there's a lot of wetlands on this
Hmm.
property.
This water
A lot of
percolates
vernal
through there, and it's very clean and very optimum habitat, so.
Which is good that he's going for the open space, rather than chopping up the whole thing into.
Yeah, it could be worse, it could be all 2 acre, you know.
Yeah, no,
so
he's
there are-
trying to
so better
preserve
than that.
something.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Well, he has to
it's
because
less
he's
less
over, it's a
costly.
major subdivision.
Right.
It's it's less costly for him, too, to do it
Mhm.
that way.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think there is some interest there.
Yeah, less infrastructure. But, you know, that's the trade-off.
Right.
So I guess the best we can do is, at this point, is not do anything until we see how things
See
evolve.
what's happening, yeah.
Right.
And I
this-
don't-
This has to go to the planning board, or has it already gone?
What is the date on this, Sam? When did you get
Is
that?
this a-
I think he said he was presenting.
This is
his-
August, this is August 2013.
Well, that's that one, but this one here is,
Oh, this is the new one.
maybe this is the new one. This one, let me see.
August 20th,
2015.
2015.
August 20th,
So
2015.
it probably has gone to the planning board, must have gone.
I think that's when he said at that meeting he was going with this phase one, would present that to them.
Uh-huh,
So,
but that hasn't happened yet.
oh, it hasn't.
No,
Hmm.
it has not.
When is he presenting?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know he's trying to get something going because
Heading
he has a
into winter.
mortgage on the property and he's making payments on the
What will the
mortgage.
planning
Yeah,
board say?
needed some houses to go through.
They'd just be interested in, you know, what his plans are, pretty much.
But at this point, they can't do,
Until he presents them to the planning board officially.
right? I mean, what options do the planning board have at this point, given that they've already approved some of this? None of this has been approved at all by the
No,
planning?
it's all been,
Just talk.
it's all been conceptual,
Right.
which means nothing has been approved. The application has not been accepted as complete.
Okay, so this is the first real,
Right, and it's a preliminary, and it's been preliminary for the last 3 years or more.
well,
So there's been no formal application yet.
Sue, will this be subject to the new approved subdivision regulations, or no? It's
No,
grandfathered?
because it predates that. It even predates impact fees.
Really?
Pretty good concession.
Well, it's the way it goes. It's not a concession, it's just the way it is.
Right.
You have to follow the rules.
Okay.
that's where we were at that time.
Okay.
So when I find out when Harbor Street's coming into the planning board, I'll send everybody an email as soon as I find out.
Okay. Keep that to that.
Okay.
Sometimes you. Next, I had review strategic plan.
Here we are again.
Do we want to?
I pulled out what we had accomplished and then things that we need, so I can type that up in bullet points and send it via email if we want to table it, or,
Well,
Something to look at, and then maybe,
Don't-
is there a way to condense, because we spent a lot of time, well, even the correspondence, if we can condense stuff for the next meeting to really just focus, have like a work session and try to,
Yeah, I thought we had committed to taking a few things off the agenda and that we would review
try to-
correspondence via email,
is there a way that we can
because Don gives it to
Condense
us, because
some
that
of
was
the-
like 45 minutes.
have them in piles so people, like, they get written up, but we just quickly maybe mention, I don't know, is there a way we can do?
But also with the minutes, you know, I've sent out, except for today, sorry, but the minutes for July
Yeah, you're right.
in
we could-
August, you've
yeah.
had in your hands for 2 months, and we've spent
Yeah, we
40
spent a long time.
minutes looking over minutes, and that could
that
have been
was our
done
fault.
beforehand. So,
Yeah.
time better spent sending me edits or whatever. But I like your idea, Kristen, just go through what have we done, what should we do, send that out in an email, and that can be agenda item number 1 at our December meeting. I think we're in good shape with what we've been doing, though.
Yes,
I think
the
so. I think
accomplished
we've
list
done a
is
lot.
actually very fat.
Considering, I think we-
It really is.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're doing great. And there's just some things on here that we keep talking about, so just good reminders, I guess, to pick them up again, that's all.
I just had one note, because I remember in the minutes, I wasn't here that month, that Paul mentioned the invasive species for plants, I think you had, and did you find, there's a new booklet out that this cooperative extension in the state has put out on,
Yeah, there's a much more comprehensive one for
More treatment and how to-
northeastern forests, which is
Okay.
very specific. But the real problem is that we don't have control over roadsides, so that these plants get a really huge toehold on all the major routes. And that is, I'm trying to think of what the road right-of-ways have, so you have to actually have a degree in application of herbicides to be able to do something. And unfortunately, that means you have to notify them, then and these plants are really spread by gravel and plowing, so it's almost like it is really not possible to control them with the current system. And so,
the state's getting better, they don't mow like the knotweed now, I mean, they have better protocols than they did 5 years ago.
over along Garland Road, and Garland Road's got so many invasive species.
there's so many invasive species on Deerfield Road that, that drive up there, I can see, if I owned that property, I could go in there, clip it, and just tap the edge of it with these compounds that are
But
recommended.
knotweed's really tough, and even when you have it on your own property, it's a tough one to get. You have to apply and reapply and cover and recover, and then still it comes back. So if it's not your own
If you-
little
if-
property, it's tough.
According to this Forest Service manual, because they use these to control the National Forest's roads by this method, if you take and cut the Japanese knotweed down at the base and then put this compound
know.
directly to the thing, then it,
I've done
and
that.
take it away, it'll usually do it.
Yep, well, the sprout comes up next to it. That one died, but the next one comes
Well,
up. So
because there's so many plants in the infrastructure, and it's
I've
fast
been
growing.
battling on another property
But,
for a while, and it's,
Um,
so I
it-
couldn't imagine trying to do a conservation land or something. We don't have the application. We can't do it anyways, because we can't apply to something that's not our property. So
Right.
we really can't do anything
That's
about
what
knotweed.
I'm
It's not on
suggesting,
our-
is that it's really too bad, but it's a problem that even the state itself and the Nature Conservancy cannot control it on state parks. So that should tell you that this is a job that your hands are tied almost. So
We don't have.
You're gonna have to accept and just try to,
minimize it, which is what
new
you're doing.
outbreaks. If you
Right,
see a new
exactly.
sprout coming, to try to pull it so a new new batch doesn't.
Take a
Yeah.
walk through the woods every day and pull up, was it the euonymus and,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
and the,
burning bush.
Burning bush and the barberry,
Yeah.
and, it's like every.
Bittersweet.
Just,
Yeah.
it's just
And
along
actually-
the path. You know,
actually,
you just think,
it's-
what's going on in the interior of the woods?
It's a much bigger problem with things like bittersweet, which now have never been controlled. So you'll have vines of bittersweet that are that big around, bigger than a tree trunk. And they'll have climbed up an ash and completely crushed it. And so many of the sanctuaries in Massachusetts now are overrun by this, and you can go in there and cut it and do this, and it just is so entrenched in the soil underneath that you just can't reclaim it.
I found a
It
vine
would-
the other day that was as thick as my thumb, and it's like, how has that been here? How have I missed it?
It's
that-
everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
That it wasn't, that I didn't see it
very
earlier.
sneaky.
And when they do timber operations, almost inevitably, if they use a grater, that thing comes up because it's the compaction and it only takes a small piece, and then a bird eats the seed and, you know, and then it's got to start. And once it gets under the ground, you don't, and pretty soon it just grows really fast. And it's almost like strangler fig, which it wraps around the tree and actually crushes the outer level. So it's actually strangling trees. So,
Something to keep in mind, if we
invasive-
look at all those intent to cuts, how many people make income off of forestry in our town alone?
It's a serious problem in all the states, and even though I think last year or 2 years ago, they started a massive campaign saying they were gonna stamp out from Odeon, and they spent all this money with bobcats going in and clearing areas, and as soon as they cleared it, it just came back with a vengeance. No native vegetation, all. So I think it's a big problem, and I think
I went to a workshop
You
a
have
couple
an
weeks ago
awareness
on
of-
it,
of
and
it.
they basically said, you really have to pick your poison as far as maybe accept some invasives and
That's
figure
right.
out what are the worst players and tackle them. If you have a new invasive, go after that one to control it.
Mm.
But if you have one established, you know, or something huge, just try to control it. But
Mm.
know that you're never gonna, some you'll never get rid of. And that's really what you have to do. Yep, control it. Yep, that's all you can do.
there's a
Oil
huge
and fertilizer.
invasion of that bittersweet. And at the last acquisition that we moved forward with, when we went into that
Oh,
area.
the Sweeney,
Yeah, that property, the Sweetser property is,
Sweet Sweets, right.
got a huge invasion, and it'll be epidemic pretty quick. And, you know, part of me would like to go up there, just
I walked
try to
on a
knock it back,
conservation
but-
easement in Epping. Well, the
It's like
Southeast
picking
Land Trust
battles.
just bought us
Yeah.
a beautiful property. It's a farmer. They actually purchased it, and they're gonna put their offices there, and this is in Epping.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, the walk was for invasives, so they had invasives all over the place, and they said, we're gonna have to, we'll probably never, they didn't have knotweed, but they had plenty of bittersweet, and there's huge areas that it just kind of envelopes on itself, and they said, we're not gonna get rid of this here. All we can do is control it. So they don't even have a plan to get rid of all the invasives, and that's gonna be their property.
So control is.
Control it. That's what they're gonna do, is
Yeah.
just, they're not gonna eradicate. You'd spend your whole life trying to eradicate
Yeah,
it. So
and it's,
you know,
it only takes a short period of time before it becomes like a monoculture, so, but, it's nice that there's an awareness here, because
yeah.
it's an epidemic problem, and in a lot of places, they don't even know it's there, and so, I think, Nottingham is in good condition, relatively.
We're gonna have
Ready to move on?
Just keep doing it.
Okay. Okay, next I've got is other anyway. After the, anybody have anything other than
I have 3 others I would like to put on the agenda for future stuff that I think I've already sent to you, but now we'll stay. The water testing already, wetlands, hazardous waste, and community trash pickup. Yeah, you said you were working, you people at Lamprey invited.
All I know is they do it once a year, and they do it with the, kind of the ocean cleanup, because it was more for shoreline. Their trash cleanup.
They did.
Well, the Epping one, at least that Lamprey was involved in, was really just the river. It was shoreline river cleanup. That was all.
Yeah.
The focus was
They
shoreline.
didn't say that on the post.
Yeah, it was shoreline for the river, so it was the Lamprey River cleanup along the Lamprey
And I
Clay
think we did
River.
it in 4 towns. It was, Raymond, Epping, Newmarket, and they didn't find much in Newmarket, I guess. And, sure, the other one, Candia maybe? Because Candia doesn't have that much of the Lamprey there. They got some tributaries that go on from
Yeah.
there. What was the third one?
Trash pickup,
Oh,
community trash pickup?
community.
I did save that pamphlet from Raymond for the hazardous waste, if we wanted to use it for a model
Well,
next
I
year.
talked very briefly to the woman, because I said something about, how did you organize this? And she said, I organized it. I said, you organized it by yourself? She said, well, I got people to help me. She said, I just called around and got,
Yep.
she said it was fairly
Straightforward, yeah.
I was like,
Well, that's
really?
good.
Then why aren't there more of them? But unfortunately, I did not get her name, but I'm sure I can get it from Raymond.
Yeah.
Another thing that the town has been getting in from the state is so many regulations and things of what you gotta do and what you can't do and stuff like that.
Hazardous waste.
Well, no, I'm talking about the
Oh.
community trash
Oh,
pickup.
okay.
Safety.
And then you've gotta, have, set up your recycling center to accept this
Take
stuff
the
or,
blue bags.
yeah.
Yeah, we've done it once. I think the selectmen coordinated it.
I was wondering why I was wondering why the recycling center doesn't coordinate the hazardous waste stuff more.
They're probably
Not their
beyond
job.
them. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't
Not
do
their
that.
job. They're not volunteers.
No, I know, but I
Oh,
mean,
but yeah,
whoever
but-
manages, I don't know what town office that recycling center, if it stands alone or if it's under another administrator, but why that,
But no town, I mean, even Raven, it doesn't go, it's operated at a separate facility. I mean, it's
Right,
like a
yes.
stand, the state
It
comes
is,
in or whatever
right.
with
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
vehicles or in
That's the way-
capacity and
yeah.
Yeah.
holds it and then they whisk it away.
It was very well run, very simple, very well run, you zipped in, zipped out.
Yeah, very
It was
good.
a piece of cake, it was,
Yeah,
I was
I think
impressed.
here that we tend to piggyback on some of the others in the area.
Yeah.
That's why we,
There aren't that
We're
many
not
in the
big enough.
area.
But even the one in Raymond, I mean, I know when I've gone there, it's not very busy, and that's like
No, it
4 towns
wasn't.
going
No, it
there. So
wasn't.
that's why when only one town does it, it's probably not busy enough. That's why they have to do 4 towns, because
No, I was
you'd be
surprised at
standing
how
there all
few
day for
people
5
were
people to
there.
come, and that's not worth it. You need to make it, need to make it
Right.
worth their while,
That's
so
right,
enough
to
people
set it
come.
up, right.
Yeah.
No, I know-
If
I
you
know
have
that.
this event and 5 people come, that's
It's not.
probably not worth it.
I wanted to ask if you had made any progress, Deb, on the bench.
I'm sorry, I've been busy, and I'll check online, because they're closed on Sundays, and I may try another outlet too, but the one I go through, they're open on Saturdays, but.
oh,
Okay.
okay. Sue wants to get reimbursed for some reams of paper that she bought at Staples. Total comes to $23.37.
So move to approve
I'll second it.
payment of the receipt.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Let me just give a couple announcements. There are some conservation easement workshops going on November 2nd in Barnstead and November 4th in Pittsfield from 6:30 to 8. The Bear Bar is hosting it along with the,
Just don't forget to lock or turn off the automatic handicap.
I'll do it.
Thanks.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
Don.
Bye. And that's all I have at this point, unless somebody else has anything else.
I had wetlands, so I second Raylene's wetlands for next, but it's on the strategic plan needs anyway. So.
Okay, just let me get an idea of what we want to do on.
We had talked about understanding delineations between prime or whatever, which ones have been delineated in town, what ordinances we have to protect, what DES does.
What if we get Mark in someday? Mark West.
Yeah, Mark was involved when they did the delineation of the wetlands.
It just would, we've talked about that a lot, but it would be good to know.
And because we didn't have digitized tax maps, he couldn't delineate prime wetlands, so he went for the
Critical.
critical wetlands, which we could do. And at this point, I understand that there's not much difference between the regulations for critical and prime.
I guess I would like to understand what we can do as a town, what options are available for ordinances, because if it's just state level, what can we fill in? And what do we have currently mapped? What can we do to fill in vernal pools if wetlands were only done? And I'd like to understand clearly what was done by Mark West those years ago.
Maybe invite Mark?
Sure.
And you do a mini training for those of us who are relatively
Yeah.
new, and maybe if we do a mini training, we could invite other conservation commissions.
And it's in our
for
thing
trainings.
too, for,
But there is this wetlands, I think, on the one, but I don't know what's in it.
for wetlands and vernal pools. You know, that's something we can get homeowners involved in. They can
Right.
understand how to look for vernal pools on their property and report their own voluntarily, which would be really cool.
And maybe let them know what to do with the vernal pool.
Right.
If they have one, but what does it mean? So you have one, so
Yeah.
what? What's the big deal?
It's just as subprime land is what's left, because all the easy stuff has already been built up, it would just be good timing to understand what we have and what we can do to protect it.
It is in the science literature in middle schools, which I was happy to see locally.
Oh, nice.
All of that stuff is there
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm,
It's good.
yeah. Yeah, everyone loves the owls and all those guys, but forget where everything comes from, or even what they do to filter our own water.
Chris Shadler is talking tomorrow night at the Northwood Library on the coyotes.
Awesome.
Oh,
That's a good
yeah.
presentation.
I'll
Yeah.
go to that.
What time?
I believe it's at 7 o'clock.
It's a great presentation.
How do you spell his last name?
Her, last name?
Her, S-C-H,
S-C-H.
A-D-L-E-R?
No, it's E-I or I-E, I think. E-L-E-R.
Okay,
I can,
I can Google. I can Google her.
which is relatively local, anyway.
What's that? One part of our house.
Yeah.
I move we adjourn?
We have
second it.
a motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I just want to say that the three of you who, you know a lot of this stuff about conservation, because you're experts at it now.
I don't know about
I
that.
sort of feel like after 3 years on it, I'm still kind of trying to figure out what all the pieces
A
are.
lot of
We're
stuff
still, we're
going
still
on.
trying to figure out some stuff too, so. I mean,
You know, having some of these things
All of us
caught
are
up
still
would be
Built on
helpful.
itself, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's one
Okay,
of those things you can
all
study
those in
for
favor of
3 or 4
adjourning?
years.
Aye.
Aye.
Still learning new
Meeting
stuff.
is adjourned at 9:05 according to the clock on the wall.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.